Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to color calibrate your MultiTaction screens to each other. This is a tedious and time-consuming process that takes about 15 to 20 minutes to measure and calibrate each screen. In the end, color calibration will make any content displayed across a multi-display installation look beautiful. To begin, we'll need the following items: MultiTaction SiteManager, Colorimeter tool, masking tape, a USB extension cable, and finally 2 or more MultiTaction screens that are within a similar color code region. If you're unsure that your screens are in a similar color code region, feel free to contact MultiTaction support and provide the serial numbers of your displays. Color code regions are important, as if the screens are too far off from one another, color calibration will not be possible. If we head over to cornerstone.multitouch.fi, we can download a copy of Cornerstone, which includes SiteManager. Before you can download, you'll need to create a user account or have already signed in. If you haven't created a user account, it's very easy to do so and it's free of charge. To save time for this video, I have already downloaded and installed Cornerstone to my computer. If we quickly look at the download section here, you'll see that there are 2 versions of Cornerstone. There's the Cornerstone Runtime and Cornerstone SDK. Both of these versions include SiteManager. In order to use SiteManager, you'll need to make sure that your computer is on the same network as the MultiTaction displays. Next, let's go to the Cornerstone documentation site for SiteManager. Under Measuring Color Response, there are 2 colorimeters that work with MultiTaction SiteManager. There's the Lacy Blue Eye 2 and ColorMunki Smile. ColorMunki Smile is the one we'll be using for this video, and it costs about $80 off at Amazon. Since we're running Windows, we'll need to install the Argyll drivers. If you're using Linux or OS X, there's no need for this. Unfortunately, Argyll doesn't store the earlier versions of the drivers, but this link, however, has the 1.6. But if I click this link, I notice that the download link doesn't work anymore. So a while back, I downloaded this driver. So I'll put this link in the video description, and we're going to go and extract it to the desktop. If we see under here, there's the USB, which is the drivers for the ColorMunki Smile. Let's install the driver for the ColorMunki. So we'll plug in the USB port. So you'll see that the driver did install successfully. So we're going to go to Device Manager and install the driver through this method. So right here, here's the ColorMunki display light with the missing driver. So we're going to go to Update Driver Software when you right click. Browse my computer for driver software, and you see I've already had the folder browsed to it. So just click OK, and Windows will be smart enough and it will automatically find a driver. So click on Install this driver anyway, and now that the driver has been installed for the ColorMunki Smile, we can close out Device Manager. And next thing is we need to set up our path to this folder, or edit system variables. So if we go to edit system variables, then we go to environment variables, and we scroll down to path. We need to create a path for this folder bin right here. So what I'm going to do, just to make it so if I want to delete this folder later, I'm going to move it to the System32 folder of Windows. And then I'm going to copy this whole folder right here, just move it over. I'll need admin permissions. Okay, so for SiteManager, it needs the bin folder right here. And we're just going to copy this whole entire address right here. Copy. And now we're going to go to Path right here and go to Edit. And then if we want to add another path to it, we're going to go semicolon and then Control V. And now we have our bin or our Argyll driver added to the system variable. We can just go over here, just look at how the other things were added. Pretty easy, just separated by a semicolon. Click OK, OK, and OK. And let's check if it actually added to system variables. So we're going to go to Start, Launch CMD, and then we're going to type in this command called echo %path %. And now we see that Argyll driver has been added to our system variables. So we're done. We're going to close that. And then now we're going to launch SiteManager. So go back to Start, Computer, then OS drive. And by default, Cornerstone installs itself to the root of the operating system drive. You can change the install directory to however you want. Double click on the Cornerstone install directory, go to bin, and we're going to browse for SiteManager. Here's SiteManager, double click it to launch it. And if we go to Devices tab, let's make this full screen. We're going to go to Devices up here, go to Scan, and then we're going to select these 3 displays here. Unfortunately, Add All doesn't really work very well, so I just go to Close. So next thing is we want to arrange these displays according to a video wall that you see here. So we're going to select our 3 screens, and then right click and go to Identify. What this will do is it will display the IP address of the screens so we can match and arrange the screens in order. So we just move this one here, maybe move this one here. Let's go to Fit. So we have our screens already in order on SiteManager. If you go here and select all the screens and go to our color under parameter, we can select a box called Show Color, and then let's just select white and click OK. So if we stand back and look at the 3 screens, we'll see that the one on the right hand side from the middle is actually a little bit reddish color, and the other 2 are kind of bluish greenish color. This is a little easy tool for selecting colors. So let's say like green, greenish, or kind of a lime green color right here, or blue, purple, yellow. So you see that these screens are a little bit off from each other. So after color calibration, you'll see that these colors are more matched to each other. And this is an easy utility right here called Show Color that you can use to see how effective your color calibration was done. So let's close out of that. So now we're going to mount our ColorMunki Smile to our display. So that's why we need our masking tape. I already connected the ColorMunki to our computer using a USB extension cable because my computer is a little bit farther away from the screen. So we're going to tape this with using masking tape because it won't damage the screens. So put a piece of tape right here. Watch out for cords. And we're going to place it in the middle of the screen right here. And then you want to make sure that it's placed perfectly flat on the screen for maximum and effective reading of the colors. Okay, so now the colorimeter is on the screen. So now we're going to click on the left-hand screen over here, and then we're going to go to Measure. So now the screen shows up as green, indicating that this is the screen that's going to be measured. And it will prompt you to place the measuring device on the screen. If you do it on the wrong screen and it's going to color measurement, then you'll have the wrong color profiles and measurement. That's really bad to do. So that's why it shines up as green. So click OK. So now it's going to begin measuring the screen colors. So on the side, I'm going to have command prompts shown up, so you can see the process of how the screen is being measured. This process takes about a minute or 2 to measure the colors or the color profile. We'll need to be doing this 3 times, and after we have done this 3 times, we're going to create a target profile for the screens. Also, another thing is you want to make sure that you don't wiggle the colorimeter, otherwise it will interfere with the process of measuring the colors. So it takes a little while for it to start up, but once it starts up, it's pretty quick. So you see on the screen right here, it's going through the different shades of color. So it starts from deep black and then it goes all the way to lighter shades of color. Okay, so now we're done measuring the colors of the screen. So what we're going to do is we're going to repeat this 2 more times, and it tells you where it saved the color measurement right here. So it's under the roaming folder, SiteManager, and then color measurements. Click OK. So if you have a bunch of screens and stuff, it might be a good idea to rename these as like screen 1, screen 2, screen 3, screen 4, and so on, so you can stay organized. But since it's only 3 screens and I know by the timestamp, there's no need for me to actually to rename the files. But it's just a good idea for if you have multiple screens just to stay organized. Another thing, if you notice, is right here in the output terminal, there's like recursion trick and everything like that. That means it didn't read the color profile correctly from the screen. If you get a bunch of those, it might be a good idea to reboot the screen from SiteManager. So we're going to measure the middle screen. So we'll move the ColorMunki over. So make sure you place it flat and center it on screen. And then we'll go back to SiteManager and then go to Measure and click OK. So looking at this command prompt outputs and stuff, we're getting a lot of recursion tricks for each part of the measurement cycle it needs to SiteManager needs to get. So we're going to reboot this last display over here. And that should speed things up, hopefully. And we might as well do it with the one on the far left as well. We'll do the one from the middle too after this is done. Okay, so we are done measuring the middle screen, and we're going to measure the last screen. Go to color and then measure. Move our color calibration tool here. And then click OK. Now it's ready to measure. And then we're going to reboot the middle screen as well. Okay, so it's done measuring for this display. That took a while. Anyway, so now we have to create a color target profile. So we're going to go to Devices and then go to Create Color Profile. So here's all of our 3 measurements for the displays. We're going to select them and say Open, and then we're going to give it a new name that we want to save the color target profile as. So we'll call it 3 display dash wall, and then click Save. So now, since we already have the ColorMunki on this display, we're just going to go to color, and then we're going to go to optimize. Now it says place measurement device on display. We've already done that. And then we're going to go to our RGB target profile. Click on open, and now we'll calibrate this one with the optimized colors. So basically when you select all of your 3 displays, it's taking an average or something like that with all these 3 colors measured, and it's gonna optimize each of the displays with the new color target profile. And then once it's been done, then you'll have to upload it to the display. This process takes a while too, so it can take about 20 to 30 minutes or something like that. So good time to get a coffee break or whatever you want. Okay, so now this display is finally done color optimization. So we're going to save the profile. And then now we're going to move the ColorMunki to the middle display. Carefully place it on the screen. And then now we're going to optimize the color. And then we're going to select our 3 display wall RGB target file. Click open, and now we're going to begin the optimization. Alright, so now we are done with color calibration for all 3 displays. That took quite a bit of time, but nonetheless we are done. So next thing we need to do is we need to upload all of these files to each of the screens that were saved during optimization. So what we'll do is we'll go to upload, and of course these are all set by timestamp. So we'll select this one for this display over here. So open, and it's going to upload to this one, and upload this one here, and then the last one. This step might not be necessary, but I do it anyway just to ensure it gets uploaded. So now we'll select all of these, and then we're going to save the settings. If you forget to save the settings, then you will lose all of your color calibration. So once it's done saving, then we're going to reboot the displays. You can reboot the displays from SiteManager or just hit the power switch. So I'm just going to hit the power switch because it's a good idea to just reboot it anyway, or just cut power, and we'll clear out the system of any issues. Okay, so we're rebooting displays now. So since the displays have been rebooted, if we go to under OSD settings, we can check that the color curves have been modified with the new calibration settings for color. So let me plug my USB keyboard. You go under setup, and then colors. Let me move the camera a little bit. We see that there's the color codes and curves have been modified. So all these little dots right here, these pertain to the color target profile we have created. So if we go to the middle screen, you'll see the same thing. Go to Setup, and then go to Colors. So you'll see some little dots right here. And you can see the same thing for the third screen as well. So going back to SiteManager, if we select all of these screens and we go into Color, we can show the solid color, and then we can view it at a distance. And looking at the camera and the images, it looks like the color yellow is very evenly distributed across the three screens. Let's select white color. And the white colors also look very, very good. You can select different colors. This is just an easy way to verify that the color calibration was properly done. Blue looks good. Purple looks good. Green. Let's pick a brown color. Brown, just orange. Pink color. So we're pretty convinced that the color calibration worked very well. So now you can also enable or disable the color calibration, but there's no need to do that. Looking at the colors being displayed on 3 screens, color calibration was successful despite that it took a very long time, about 30 to 45 minutes per screen rather than 15 to 20 minutes as intended. Nonetheless, if you're patient enough, the color calibration process will eventually complete and you will have a very nice looking multi-display setup. Before I conclude this video, let's go to the SiteManager documentation. So if we see here, the color calibration process done in SiteManager was a simple 3-step process. First, measure the color response of all the displays installed. Second, create a color target profile. And finally, optimize each display with the color target profile you created. Color calibration does take time, but the results are very rewarding. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know, and as always, have a nice day.